Welcome to the official Guns Up Nations podcast, the premier voice for the fearless fans of Raiderland and proud supporter of Texas Tech University. Let's meet today's hosts.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome into another installment of the Guns Up Nation podcast. I'm RC Max, good alongside Tobias Bass down in H-Town. Tobias, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Shout out to Haley. It's hot. We were supposed to get a hurricane over here, but they lied. We didn't get anything. We literally didn't get a drop of rain. Like
you didn't get any rain?
No. Like I'm telling you, this is the crazy thing. The day we were supposed to get a hurricane, it was hotter that day. Like it was a normal August 100-degree day. We didn't get any wind. We didn't get any rain. The clouds didn't change. It was just a normal hot day. Like it was just normal. Places were shutting down because they thought they were going to get a storm. Like places were closed. They were sending their workers home early for the rest of the week.
Did they board it up or anything like that?
Yes. They were boarding up everything, putting sandbags out. You know, people were buying plywood, you know, boarding up their houses and stuff like that. Nothing happened. Like I wish I could show you what it looks like right now. Like it was just a normal hot day. Like we didn't get anything. No rain, no wind, like nothing. It was crazy. Then the next day, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna rain tomorrow. 60% chance." We didn't get a drop.
That's so weird.
It's so weird. We didn't get anything.
But
crazy.
We do want to send our thoughts and prayers out because there was people heavily affected by this in Louisiana and in Texas. So hopefully,
there were.
Everybody's okay. I know that there was 6 people that tragically passed away from it, but hopefully their friends and their families are recovering properly and trying to get through it. But that is kind of crazy because didn't the National Weather Service say it was the first time in their recorded history, I should say, that 2 hurricanes had been in the Gulf of Mexico at the same time?
At the same time, we didn't get a drop from either one, not in Houston.
That's wild.
We didn't get, because we were for sure, like even like because it was curving towards the right, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you guys should expect some rain." We're like, "Yeah, it's gonna rain, nothing too crazy." People were, preparing, just ready, and people were outside playing basketball. They were just doing whatever they had to do like normal. So, and then like I said, it definitely was a tragedy. Some people did lose their life, and hopefully the families that were affected, they're okay. But out here in Houston, we didn't get any. They're saying there's 2 more deep in the Gulf of Mexico, but we'll see what happens with those.
2020, man. I'm tired of it.
And rest in paradise to my man, Chadwick Boseman. That was my guy. That hurt me because I love me some Black Panther. That's my favorite superhero, and that hurt my soul. So rest in peace to him, and prayers I go to his family and friends because he will definitely be missed. He's a superstar. I missed him.
No, I mean I think LeBron said it best. I can't relate to being an African American in this country, but there's not very many African American superheroes. And when you get one, you put him on the highest pedestal. And the thing is, sometimes your heroes don't live up to your expectations, right? Well, Chadwick was an even better person than he was superhero.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was fighting cancer for 4 years, and we did not know anything about it. I mean, first and foremost, shout out to his team. Like, whoever was in his circle, they're ride or die at that point. You know what I mean? Like, legit, like, they didn't we didn't know anything about it.
But then it even speaks to his character. Like, think about it, bro. He was in Civil War, Captain America. He did Black Panther.
Endgame, right?
All the Avengers. Yeah, he did all the Avengers. Well, not all of them, but he did Endgame and the one Infinity War. He did both of those. He did 4 or 5 just Marvel movies alone. He did all of those with colon cancer. Like
stage 3.
That's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
And I think they've already filmed Black Panther 2. I think they've already filmed it.
That's going to be the highest grossing Marvel movie of all time.
Oh, yeah, Lord.
Book it. It's not. It's going to possibly double whatever happened.
I think they're saying it's going to come out in 2022, which is just awful. But things take time. So, but yeah, you're right though. I agree. I think it will be the highest grossing Marvel movie.
I'm not even a superhero guy, you know that, but I mean, I got to go see that. I enjoyed Black Panther, and I mean, I remember him as Jackie Robinson because I do love sports movies, and I mean, he was an icon, man. When I first saw it on Twitter, I thought it was fake. I'm not gonna lie, and then I saw the source. It was AP News, and I was like, okay, why are they playing like a sick joke right now? And then I read it, and I was like, oh my God, like this is legit, you know?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I remember when I went to go watch it with BSA, and I was so excited. Like, I skipped everything to go watch that movie. I was so excited to watch it because I love like the Black Panther. Now that's our guy. That's our superhero. You know what I'm saying?
You've
Like, we
never,
don't like. We don't.
you never had one before as an African
Yeah,
American.
we don't.
You had never
Yeah, we
had
don't. We don't
one.
have. Yeah, so when he comes out, everyone was like happy. Then I know when he went to Dust and Infinity War, I was sick. Like
Oh, yeah.
it took our dude. But then he comes back, and the first thing you see in the last one, he's the first one that comes out of the little portal, and like I stood up and clapped. I was excited. Like, my dude is back.
Who was it?
Like,
wasn't it Angela Bassett? Right? She's also in the movie.
In as well.
Yeah, she came out of the portal. I remember seeing that. I mean, again, I'm not a superhero guy, but I mean, Chadwick was more than just Black Panther, but at the same time, like, if that's his legacy, I know that's probably not what he wants, just to be remembered as Black Panther. He wants to be remembered as more. And I promise you, he is remembered more than just Black Panther. But if you were only to be remembered as Black Panther, I think people would take that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just finished watching the Marvel movies again over the pandemic, and that was like the last one that I watched, or one of the last ones that I watched. And I was like, you weren't expecting it. It was crazy. I was just talking to one of my friends about this because in the last Avengers movie, they basically previewed what Black Panther would be about. They basically they gave like a subtle hint. When one of his warriors was talking to Scarlett Johansson, they're talking about, oh, there's an earthquake on the side of Africa. What do we do? She said, it's an earthquake. We do nothing. They were previewing of the movie, and I was super. I said, oh, they're bringing in. I can't remember the villain's name. They're bringing him to the forefront. He's going to be the villain that he fights. But it's just sad. But like I said, rest in peace, rest in paradise to him, and prayers go out to his family and friends.
Yeah, he's going to be remembered for a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely one of the most iconic actors, and of our time by far. And it was crazy to see that happen. But on today's podcast, we're going to talk about the football team and their peaceful protest and what they've done in the community, meeting with the higher-ups in the city of Lubbock. We're also going to talk about the Texas Tech men's basketball roster and now how it looks kind of like it's finalized, and what we can expect from them, as well as our quick thoughts on that. And then we have some breaking news as well. Texas Tech football adds another star transfer, this time in Colin Schooler, the all Pac-12 first-team member in 2018, what this means for the linebacking core for Texas Tech and what he can bring and be an impact player for this defense. And then later on, we're going to have to talk about our friends at Two Docs, and then we're going to talk about Krista Gerlich, and then we're going to preview Texas Tech soccer. But Tobias, I know that you and I have talked about it. You've sent me some text messages about it, and I know Tobias will agree with me on this. Good for the football team going out there and not just talking the talk, but they walked the walk, and they did exactly what you're supposed to do in this situation. You don't just take a day off. You go out in your community. You talk to the people that are important, the ADs, the president of the university, the mayor of Lubbock. You talk to these high-ranking officials in your community, and you try and let them see your viewpoint to cause change. And good for them for doing that. And also just being out there with the kids too. I mean, everybody needs that right now, especially with the global pandemic going on. But let's move on. That was a deep conversation. People want to talk about sports, but there's a time and a place for both. And we had to get that off of our chest for sure. But I don't want to say this is positive news. Half of it is negative. Isaiah Inouye has left the Texas Tech program, the junior college big man. But on the positive side, it does look like the 2020-2021 men's basketball roster is basically finalized, right? You look at this roster, and everything that I've heard and everything that people have seen from the NCAA so far would make it seem as though Mac McClung will be eligible, because they're just handing out free waivers left and right.
Yeah, for sure.
So I would assume he's eligible. Now, just quick thoughts, Tobias. What's your initial thought on the roster for Texas Tech right now?
I think the roster looks fantastic. Let's start off with that. I think the roster looks great. What I like about this roster, we have pretty much, if not 2, 3 of everything. We got rebounders, we got shooters, we got guys that can score, we got multiple guards. We have a great coach. Well, great coach here. It's a great staff, to be honest. I guess I want to see what happens with Golden, or how much he plays. But I guess our biggest, I guess, weakness for people would just be size. But I mean, Santos, if he's a rebounding menace, that's just what he's here for. He's going to rebound the hell out of the ball. And then as a Buki, he's gone. Big guy he's a senior last year. He graduated from Baylor. He's gone. Those big centers, other than McCormick, but McCormick he's solid, but he still hasn't popped yet.
There's really only 3 of them in the Big 12.
Yeah, so there's not that many these big, humongous centers in the Big 12 anymore. So if any year where I feel like we'll be okay, this would be the year. I feel like this would be the year. Then where we are, I guess, small on the front court, our wings are huge.
Yeah.
Shannon is huge. Micah Peavy, he's like the biggest 6'7" kid I've ever seen in my life. He's a big kid. Like,
yeah, he's not even growing either.
Yeah, he's not. Agbo Jr., he's huge. Lamar Brunette, he's big for a guard. And Kevin McCullough, he has good size. We have size on our wings, so I think that rebounding won't be an issue for us.
No, and I totally agree. I think this team is really well versed in the sense of it can do multiple things, right? Yeah. You know, if they want to play fast, they have the guys that can play fast. If they want to slow it down and really just focus on ball movement, they have guys that can do that. I wouldn't be shocked if this year you see a lot of a lineup where Joel Ntopwe is the center. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that, you know, to really just stretch the floor, make the center like a McCormick come away from the basket, and that opens up driving lanes for McClung, Namari, Peavy, all those types of players.
What I want to see is, you know, you've been seeing this in the NBA a lot and also in college over the last about a year or so, teams are getting a lot more sexier with their lineups. They're having 3 guards on the floor, all like the Thunder do it. They start 3 guards at the same time. I want to see lineups where we have Mac, Brunette, Kyler on the floor all at the same time. You have like a Ntopwe at the 4, and maybe you have like a Tyreek at the 4, Santos Silva at the 5, and you have Joel at the 4. Because you always have a feature, just run a 5 out, and just like you said, have driving lanes, shooters just everywhere, ball creators everywhere. Because teams are doing that. You know, you haven't, especially if they're not selfish, you can play 3 combo guards at the same time. Baylor did it all last year.
Easily. I mean, for me, when I look at the, you know, really what this team can do, it's just a lot, man. It's hard to pinpoint one thing where I'm like, okay, that's the thing I'm most excited about this team, because I think Chris Beard has done a great job. You mentioned Baylor. I think they match up well against Baylor, right? I think they also match up well against West Virginia, who has 2 of the best 3 bigs in the Big 12. I think they can match up with them. I think they can cause problems, because if you put Joel on the floor with Santos Silva, you got to take Culver away from the basket, or I forget his name right now. The other power forward they have, who was supposed to be a lottery pick.
Not Coke. I can't remember. I can't remember his name right now.
It's like it starts with an O. I forget his name.
Oscar.
Yes, Ntopwe, right?
Ntopwe.
No, that's Joel. Oh, my goodness. What is it? It's Oscar, though. It's Oscar something. I forget his name. But that's the thing. Like, I think they can do that also against Kansas. I think they might just make it where Joel starts and they bring Santos Silva off the bench when McCormick isn't on the floor, right? And you pound each other, man. I think they can do so many things. It's just one of the main thing for me is obviously rebounding. It's a little small for my liking. But at the same time, you mentioned it, Santos Silva is an absolute stud when it comes to rebounding. The thing is, for me, too, I wonder if Coach Beard with these guys, because there's a bunch of guys that can ball handle on this team. You know, Joel can do it. I wonder if he tries to push the envelope a little more this year, and he really tries to make it not a run-and gun team, but not afraid to push the envelope a lot. Because, you know, those teams, when they went to the Final Four, they capitalized on those opportunities. But really it was a ball movement type team, you know. And I think last year you saw a little bit of it where they were trying to run and gun a little bit. And that was the only way they could really create sustained offense, because ball movement just wasn't, you know, their strong suit last year. Right. I think they can do multiple things this year on the offensive end, and they have the pieces to do it. The real question is, for me, when you look at this team, who's going to be the starting point guard? I would probably say Namari.
I would too. Just
because I think he's the best passer on the team. But the benefit of it is, if you start Mac McClung next to him, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it at all. You know what I mean? So I think when you really, really look at things on this roster, it's just deep in a lot of ways. And I think this is a perfect Coach Beard roster in the sense of, okay, what is my opponent doing? I'm going to find that weakness, and I'm going to put the guys on the floor to capitalize on that. I'm not going to play your brand of basketball. I'm going to play whatever your weakness is and make you conform to my brand of basketball.
Well, two things. I mean, look at the Rockets. They didn't, they're banking on the small ball, but they're going down swinging. They don't adapt to teams. They make teams adapt to them. That's just the way they play. Then also, you look at West Virginia with Big O and Culver. They like to run a lot of high-low. And when Oscar is down low and Culver's at the top, if people haven't noticed, Culver's a horrible passer. If you can apply ball pressure when they run that high-low, he's going to turn the ball over, and he doesn't shoot free throws well. So he wants to slash and do that and shoot a lot of pull-up threes and pull up, whatever. You apply ball pressure with a good tough defender like a Joel or Tariq, he'll turn the ball over. That's Sam, because Santos is strong. He's not going to get bullied down there. I think when they run out of that high-low stuff, I think that would be something Beer would even allow them to do, especially if you're able to play Tariq or like Ogbo or someone that's long and lanky on Culver when he does that, because it's not going to work. Then it's hard to have two bigs posting up at the same time because the lanes, there's too much room. I mean, last year West Virginia,
he might as well just run his own at that point.
Other than Isaiah McBride last year, who shot the ball well for them? They really didn't shoot the ball that well.
No.
So I think that you almost in a sense can run some type of zone, if not trap in that zone, especially when Oscar gets it, because Oscar down low, he's a lot to handle down low. But Culver, he likes to slash anyway. He likes to play on the elbow anyway. So I think that kind of plays in Tech's favor. I think the only teams, West Virginia, they're going to have a good team, but I think the only two teams that scare me is Kansas and Baylor. I think Baylor's a little bit better than Kansas. So I think it's really Tech and Baylor at the top. We'll see what Kansas does. They're always good. But
yeah, I think it's going to be a four-headed monster atop of the Big 12. West Virginia's in there for me.
They're in the top four for sure.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a four-horse race, and really I think what it's going to come down to is does experience outweigh the new kids on the block per se? And what I mean by that is, does the experience West Virginia and Baylor have? Because they have a lot of minutes on that roster. You know what I mean?
Do.
Yeah, West Virginia did lose some guys, but they brought a lot of guys back, and their two main guys are back, right, who played a lot of minutes last year. And then there's Baylor. They were one of the top 5 oldest teams in the country last year, and they get a bunch of their guys back.
Yeah.
Now, you look at Kansas, who just seems to always reload instead of rebuild. That's just what happens when you're a blue blood, right? And you lose some of your best players. And some of their guys are old, like Garrett. I believe he's going into his senior year. But they have a lot of freshmen that come in there and just play meaningful minutes right away, and rightfully so. They're 5-star recruits, right? And then you look at Texas Tech. They always have those grad transfers that come and make an impact. But usually, they're playing alongside what? Freshmen, sophomores, and they're making big impacts. I think really the only team that Coach Beard has had that had guys that were not younger making big impacts was the Keenan Evans year. You look at it, the grad transfer with Tyreek Owens and Matt Mooney, who was on the floor with them a majority of the time. You had Edwards. You had Culver. You had Moretti. Those guys were all lowerclassmen. So I think that's really what you look at is, does the talent for Texas Tech, and this is the best recruiting class in program history, does it pick up quick or does it take a minute? Last year it took a minute. I think this year, I don't think it takes as long because I think the talent is better, and I think that Coach Beard and crew learned from what they had last. And I think that's a big thing that people are not talking about. Everybody says that Coach Beard, they make him out to seem like he's perfect. He's not, and he'll admit that. But I think he learned a valuable lesson last year in the sense of, okay, yeah, I do have these really big-time recruits coming in, but I have to make sure that they know what situation they're in and what they can do well, and I have to surround them for success. I just can't, kind of push them into the deep end and be like, hey, you're either going to sink or swim. And last year, a lot of times, they sank.
Yeah, and also when you have 5-star recruits like that, it's probably best to surround them with multiple ones. It's kind of usually, lucky, last year we had a bunch of guys coming back, but usually when teams sign one 5-star, there's usually another, sometimes another and another, like Kentucky does. But yeah, so I agree, though. I think he definitely learned. And dealing with 5-star recruits and, high-profile guys, it's a lot. But I think that it's a learning experience. Beard, we as a school had never had that before, but him individually, he had never had that before.
Absolutely.
So I think that he learned from it. He said, okay, this is what I'm expecting. Okay, fine. I've learned from it. I know we have to do. Then we have a lot of guys coming back, that been at locker. And some of our guys are older. We have multiple grad transfers. They've been around. They've played in tournament games before. they'll be able to, be coaches, the coach on the floor, I guess, per se. Santos, he put a lot of minutes in college basketball. Played a lot.
Yeah, played in the tournament.
Yeah, Mac McClung, he put a lot of minutes in that Georgetown, a lot of minutes, and a lot of different things. I think that with Kyler, he'll be a big leader in there, like with Joel as well. So, and Joel not playing, he still was around the team. He didn't play, but he still was around the team. He knows how things operate now.
And he was working out this summer. He might not have been around the program the whole time, but he was working out with arguably, the best recruit ever in terms of, rivals, at least one of the top 7 if you go by their score. He had a perfect score in his brother and Jonathan Kuminga. So, he was still getting work in. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how they use Joel, because I think he is the X factor for this team this year. But we'll talk about more basketball later on when it gets closer to the season. Texas Tech football, as we mentioned, did just pick up a big-time recruit in Colin Schooler. He's projected NFL draft pick. He committed to Tech just today, the All Pac-12 first-team member in 2018, leads the FBS with the most tackles for losses, currently with 46. Tobias, what do you think he adds to the linebacking room for Texas Tech?
I think he just adds depth. I think he adds another adult. You have Rico Jeffers there. You have Schooler. This is a deep Texas Tech linebacker, like you said before. You talked about this before we got on air, but I think just adds depth. When you're bringing a guy like that, you just feel better as a defense. You know what I'm saying? Because you lose Jordan Brooks last year. But who's going to be that next guy? Well, you found him. You found him. It's not nothing like bringing the FBS leader in tackles for a loss to your team. He's a tackle machine.
It can't hurt.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
you got some JUCO guys coming in, like you said as well.
I love Kershawn Merriweather. Love him.
Yeah, you got some good. Tech is finished to finish what?
They're projected to finish 9th in the Big 12.
Yeah, 9th. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't like it. But I love what Coach Matt Wells and crew are doing with this team. Yeah. I really do. Tobias, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, but when we were at KTXT, I was the only one on that radio show that liked the hire, if you remember.
You were.
And I did, I expected it to take him a while. I will admit that. I did like the hire, but I expected it to take him a while because, let's be honest, Cliff Kingsbury just didn't like recruiting. He said that himself. And I think it takes a little while to get that jump started and get your name in there. But the thing that he is doing that I did not expect is to get these transfers. He's almost doing what Coach Beard does.
Yeah, I mean, he got a LSU transfer, Alabama transfer, an A&M transfer, Duke, Wofford, Michigan State, Arizona, like Lord.
You're talking about Power 5 conferences outside of Wofford. And I mean, and the thing is with the Wofford, Josh Berger, he was an All-American.
Yep.
People forget that. He was an All-American as a sophomore.
We didn't even talk about the guys like guy from Penn State, the corner guy I like.
McPherson. I mean, he came in last year, but yeah, there's another one. I mean, what he is doing is legit just jump-starting it. And the crazy part about this is, right, let's say Tech does play all these games this year. And hypothetically, let's just say they go 4-6, Tobias, right? Yeah. Everybody has the opportunity to come back next year.
Yep.
Everybody. So you're telling me right now that you could potentially have another year with a linebacking core that has Rico Jeffers, Schooler, Merriweather, Boyer Randall, and others. Those 4 alone right there make me happy. I'll tell you what right now. Because I truly believe that the guys that he gets, I think McPherson is the perfect example. Was McPherson perfect last year? Absolutely not. He definitely struggled. But you could see the flashes in him where it's like, okay, once this guy actually gets to playing and actually gets those reps in live game action, he's pretty damn good, right? Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen with Boyer Randall. Boyer Randall just didn't have the chance at Michigan State. Wilson just didn't have the chance at A&M. Once these guys get the chances and they get those live game reps, I expect them to be key contributors for that defense and really make an impact.
All right. I agree. I mean, then you have Adrian Fry going back, to his natural position. I think this defense has a chance to be pretty good. And like you said before, you made a good point last podcast. You're playing UT early. You at home, you could theoretically catch them off guard, and you could upset them.
Yeah, and you know where the perfect place is to watch that Texas Tech UT game, Tobias?
Where's that?
It's Two Docks.
Yeah?
Yeah, Two Docks, man. I don't know if you've been to Two Docks personally.
I haven't been there yet.
Dude, okay, let me tell you about this. This is an informative segment for him, okay? So just to put it out there, Tobias doesn't drink. But this place is awesome, Tobias, because it's got an outdoor patio. You big into cornhole?
You know I like cornhole.
Yeah, they got cornhole out there. So you got cornhole, you got live music, you got food trucks coming in there.
What the hell is this at?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's in downtown Lubbock, man. It's 502 Texas Avenue.
I'll probably be, we'll see what this stupid virus does, but I'll probably be back in Lubbock at some point. So.
Well, I'll be in Lubbock too when you go there, and we got to go to Two Docs together because they got great beer, they have live music, great food trucks, and best of all, they have a friendly staff and environment. And it's just awesome. Like, we go there every time. My girlfriend Haley and I, we go with our buddies out there, and we just sit out there. It's a little hot, don't get me wrong, but those beers cool you down there at Two Docs. And that's the best thing is when you order Two Docs right now and you use the Guns Up code, you get free shipping if you spend $49 or more. So you get beer, plus you're listening to us. So why don't you drink the Two Docs beer while you're listening to us? I mean, that's the only way to go. And then you help out a local business, and we all know that's very important right now. With COVID right now, we got to keep them in business. And that's Two Docs, again, on 502 Texas Avenue in downtown Lubbock. You can go online right now to twodocs.com, and you can get Guns Up promo code right now. Just type in Guns Up, all capital, and when you spend $49 or more with that promo code, you get free shipping. Again, use the code Guns Up and get free shipping on orders of $49 or more. Go see our friends down at Two Docs and support local business in Lubbock. Love those guys. Let's move on, though, Tobias. Big news, and I mean big news in women's basketball. We talked about the Marling Stalling stuff, I think, at nauseum. I don't think we need to talk about that anymore. I think we need to talk about the positive that Kirby Hocutt seemingly made out of this very, very negative situation. And by no means did this hire correct everything that happened. That'll take a lot of time and a lot of effort by the new coaching staff. But for him to go out and get a successful coach in Krista Gerlich, an alumni, a guard, an all-Southwest Conference guard that played alongside Cheryl Swoops and won a 1993 national championship is huge for the women's basketball program. And you got some friends in that program. Have you talked to them about the hire?
Well, I haven't talked to any of them yet, but I think the biggest thing that came out of it for me was that she was able to keep Lexi Gordon and Kristen Carr because they did put their name in the transfer portal. That was freaking big because you're losing your best two players. Like, you can't, they both of them leave.
It's impossible to make that up.
The top 100 recruit, she stayed. She's still gonna go to Tech. So she pretty much bringing back the same roster.
Yeah.
And then she'll have some work to do to repair the damage of what was done previously. But
and rightfully so.
Yeah, but if you bring a Tech alum in there, she's been around the program before. She still has friends and people that'll back her. She'll be fine. It'll take some time because we'll see what happens more as this situation progresses. Maybe we find out more things, maybe we don't. But I think she'll be fine. But I think that was huge for her to be able to get those two girls to come back because Kristen, she's a superstar, and Lexi Gordon. We've only seen the tip of this iceberg when it comes to her. She's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, and not to mention, you didn't mention her daughter. Her daughter transferred in from Oklahoma State as well. Her daughter averaged 20 points a game in high school, was a rotational player at Oklahoma State, but she transferred in as well. But, I think really a testament to Coach Gerlich as well was the girl that you talked about in terms of obviously keeping the girls that you need there in terms of Gordon and Carr. Yeah. That's the biggest thing. But also to keep a girl in Embry that she didn't even recruit.
Yeah.
She didn't even recruit her to stay on board and get her first commitment. And really, she probably had like one conversation with her, right?
Probably.
Realistically, to keep her. That's amazing.
As soon as she probably got the job, I would imagine once everything got settled, that probably would have been the recruit. Other than Kristen and Alexi, those probably would have been the second or third person I would have called.
Same.
Because you got to build a future. You have to build your future. Because the girls, and I was like, dang, Kristen and Lexi are leaving. That's tough.
No, honestly, and the thing is, it's not just them. You lose Brittany too.
Yeah.
That was just due to graduation. She didn't have a chance to keep her, but you lose your three top scorers.
Right.
That's hard for any program. I don't care if you're UConn, Duke, whatever. Like that's hard for any program.
Yeah, I would love to been like a fly on the wall to hear that conversation with them. To get them to stay You know, they didn't have to stay. They don't owe Tech anything. You can just leave. You know, Kristen could have went anywhere. Yeah, exactly. They don't know her. Kristen could have went anywhere in the country she wanted to go. Lexi's former 5-star recruit. She could have went anywhere in the country. But to get them to stay was impressive, and keeping their recruit.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this. You know, last time that Kirby Hook had hired alumni to be women's basketball coach, Candy Whitaker, it didn't work out too well. She was a great recruiter, but she couldn't really coach, or wasn't a great coach, I would say. But this kind of seems the best of both worlds, right? Because you look at Gerlich and her track record. She turned a UTA Mavericks team around from where they were in the bottom of their conference, and they were almost on the verge of making the NCAA tournament. Yeah,
they were co-champions in 2019. So she's won a lot of games. She's won 289 games as a head coach. So I think she has like a nice little energy about her that I think the players will like. I think she's a good change of pace from what Coach Stallings was doing. So I think the girls will be able to rally around her and they'll like that. And her staff, they look like a good staff. I mean, they look, they're energized, they're ready to get to work. So I love the Lady Raiders basketball team. I'm excited to see what they can do this coming year.
And I think, more than anything for me, and I will admit Tobias pays far more attention to women's basketball than I do. I like to think that I pay as much as I can to it, but he's just far more into it. He has friends on the team, and you're going to pay attention when your friends are on the team, right?
Right.
But I think it just feels different, like I wasn't here when Candy got hired. I wasn't. But there's just so much positivity around Coach Gerlich, right, where you're not going to find anybody with a bad thing to say about her. She has that work ethic. You can tell because look at her track record. You talked about it. She has how many wins? 289?
289, yeah, 14 seasons. She has a 66.3 winning percentage.
I'll take that all day tomorrow and, 4 years from now too, if I'm a Tech fan. I'm just saying, it's amazing. Like the situation that Tech was in was awful. There's no way around it. The administration failed the girls. They've already admitted that. And just the coach in general was just a bad situation, right? But the thing is, you try and right your wrongs the best you can. And this feels like the best possible way to right your wrong in terms of a hire, right? You come in, you get a successful alumni, not just any alumni, but one that was on the national championship team that played with the greatest women's basketball player of all time. So you have that connection. Her and Cheryl Swoops are friends still.
Right.
So you still have that connection. I just think it's a perfect hire for the situation that Tech is in right now, and I really do think that she can have an impact on winning down the line too.
Right. I mean, yeah, I agree as well. The thing that just kind of bugged me the most about not the hire, but this whole situation was like, this has been going on for a while.
Yeah.
And you remember when I first met you, I wrote a story about this a while. It's like 2016, 2017.
Sounds about right.
This has been going on for a long time, and it's been like, I don't know who did or who didn't know. I don't know. But I'm just glad they were able to fix it. Because, you having 20, 30, 40 girls coming in and out of that locker room. Because, look, when Candy, how many times she had 6 top 100 girls on that roster. I think only one of them finished at Tech, which is insane.
I thought it was 7.
She might have had 7.
Am I wrong?
She might have had 7.
6. I thought it was 7, but 6 could be right.
I know that all of them transferred but one.
Yeah,
that's wild to me.
Yeah,
that's crazy to me. So just think about how much talent, and they always underachieve. It's not like it wasn't there. You had a McDonald's All-American. My sister, love her to death. Jose Caldwell at point guard position. You have Ariella, top 75 recruit. You have Japrice, Brielle, a top 100 recruit transfer from Virginia Tech. You get a transfer, Jada from A&M, a top 100 recruit. You get Aaron.
The talent. I mean, there was
the talent was
lots of talent.
Brittany Brewer, the talent was. I don't want to hear anything about the talent. It was just the coaching. So I'm so glad they were able to fix the situation.
And sometimes that's the problem. I'm not saying this is the problem for every team that underachieves. Right. Obviously, there was more issues than just the coach, right? Like it was the environment as well that the coach created. But I think that's a testament to Kirby Hoka in the sense of I realized that, these coaches weren't working in terms of a system, in terms of a cultural, development in my program. Who can I go out there that's going to make an impact, first of all, on the alumni base? Because that was important, right? And I shouldn't say first. That should be number 2. First of all, who's going to put these girls in the best situation to succeed, not only in life, but also on the basketball court and make them feel comfortable and not feel threatened. That was his number one obligation, I hope. Number two should be the alumni at that point. Because let's be honest, the women's basketball team before, 2 years ago was the most successful program on campus if you look in terms of championships. They have the lone national championship, right? Like it or not, that's just how it was, right? You have the greatest female basketball player of all time go to your university, right? Now it looks like you could have the best football player of all time, right? This is crazy, right? You have to capitalize on this. So you go out and you get a woman that is a proven winner, first of all. You already mentioned her stats, but also has ties to the university and has proven to develop a positive culture in the programs she's also won with. So I think it was a home run hire by Kirby Hocutt. Unfortunate circumstances, and I hope that those girls get the help that they need. But I think the program will go in the right direction now that Coach Gerlich is there and staff.
I mean, hopefully, Coach is there to stay. We've had 4 head coaches in, 4 years? Good Lord. Like, at some point, we have to pick the right one.
No, it's 3 and 4 years.
With Shimmy, she took over, but I guess
you're right. You're right. I forgot about the interim tag.
Yeah. So, but
yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I mean, so hopefully, we can just pick the right coach at this time, and she'll be here to stay, and we'll see our Lady Raiders rising to the top. Because I think they're talented. I think they have a good enough team. I don't know. I think they have a good enough team to make the tournament in the next 2 years. Yeah,
I mean, I think the talent's there. I'm just hesitant because we've seen the talent. Obviously, I didn't know the coaching issues, but it's just hard in these circumstances. There's scars with this, right? Mental scars. We don't know how those heal with different people. Heal differently. It takes people longer. Sometimes, some of them might be over it. Some of them, they might never get over it. So that's really going to be on Coach Gerlich, and we're going to have to see how that relationship with the team goes. Obviously, she's gone in the right direction to get the two of their top 3 leading scorers from last year, Carr and Gordon, to come back. But it's going to be a process. This isn't going to happen overnight. I don't think anybody expects it to. But we'll move on. Texas Tech soccer season, Tobias. A team near and dear to our heart, a program near and dear to our heart, that's for sure.
Love them.
They were projected to finish first in the Big 12, and we should say that there will only be a Big 12-only schedule in 2020, so the Red Raiders will only play 9 games. They'll play Kansas State to start off things in Manhattan on 9/11. Then they'll welcome in Baylor the following Saturday, and then Kansas, Oklahoma, West Virginia, TCU, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and Texas. The 4 lone home games of the year for the Red Raiders will be Baylor, West Virginia, Iowa State, and Texas. Tobias, we've covered this team for what? I think it was 2 years for you, 3 years for me.
Yeah.
Man, I love this program so much, man. I love it.
So much. This year's team, they kind of remind me of the Justice League. We just got stars just all over the field, like just wherever you think there's a hole, there isn't one. There's just stars everywhere, and I mean, we're loaded.
Well, you want to hear a crazy stat? I wrote the soccer preview for GunsUpNation.com. You can go check that out on GunsUpNation.com right now. Did you know this is the first time in Big 12 history, Tobias, that a team has welcomed back their 3 top scorers from the past 3 seasons, and it was 3 different individuals?
Wow.
And Texas Tech is doing that. Allie, Jade, and Kristen Davis.
Things just set up like this is a very, weird year that we're going through. But for this team individually, things set up just perfectly, like just well for them. Like you can't ask for better luck than this. Like you really can't. Just
also, you want to hear what's great about this? What did the NCAA say about fall sports? This is a free year, right?
I'm back.
So Jade King can come back from injury, play this year, get her feet wet, and then come back. Same thing for Allie Griffin, and they don't lose a year of eligibility. So you're telling me that I virtually get 2 years of those 3 top scorers to come back. Those are All-American type players.
Come on, Jay, get another master's degree. You know you want another master's degree. You can see what you can do in 21.
Why go for a master's degree? Get a doctorate. Come on, you're going to be there long enough.
Yeah. You won't be there long enough. You might as well.
Go get a doctorate. Yeah, get a doctorate. But let's talk about this team a little bit. the goalkeeping situation is always something to highlight for any team. And Texas Tech is, once again, absolutely loaded. Madison White, kind of an unfortunate situation last year where Marissa Zucchetto got hurt in Tampa, if you remember that, against what was that, USF, early on in the year. But then you have a star freshman in Madison White come in, and she literally just takes the league by storm. She's Big 12 Freshman of the Year. Yeah. She's named to the Big 12 first team. Like, I mean, and then not to mention, she saved a ball to propel Texas Tech to the round of 32 against Pepperdine, where she had to say back-to-back PKs so Texas Tech season was alive, and she did it. I mean, and she's only a freshman. Now she's a sophomore.
The thing with her is, like, for her to have that much ice in her vein as a freshman, because most people would have folded. Like, for her to, to give up those goals early, it would have been easy for her to be like, it's done. It's done.
Easily.
Like, I can't. Like, whatever. For her to do that as a freshman, that's tough. That's hard. And then, like you said, her winning Big 12 Freshman of the Year, she came in, how many games did they play at that time? They played enough. They played a good amount.
I think Marissa Zucchetto got hurt about in the first 5 games of the year.
Okay. So, like, she came in, not late in the season, but she wasn't playing. You had a good goalie already. For her to come in and just pretty much not miss a beat, that's impressive. That's hard to do. And she, like you said, she came in.
You've never played against college competition.
No.
It's wild, man. Absolutely wild. I don't know if I.
That was the 10th game of the season.
10th game. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
she
a lot.
Started about half of it.
Yeah, about half. And she came in. Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, I think that's probably the loudest I've ever screamed into a microphone. When she saved that ball, that PK ball against Pepperdine in the tournament. Yeah. I think that's probably the loudest I've ever screamed into a microphone. But, hey, it was well worth it. One of my favorite things to do was call these soccer games. We'll move on to the defenders. You lose one of them in Gabby Puente. She was a redshirt senior.
Yeah.
But you really have your 2 cornerstones of that back line come back in Cassie Hyatt and Hannah Anderson, right?
Yeah.
So you look at Cassie Hyatt's resume from just 2019, Tobias. I'm going to have to take a breath. There's so many accolades in here, but bear with me. 2019 third team All-American, 2019 first team All-Midwest, 2019 first team All-Big 12. Take my breath there. 2019 first team academic All-Big 12, 2019 preseason All-Big 12. And she delivered on every aspect of it.
Superstar.
Yeah.
She's only a junior, which is wild. Like,
she's going to be on campus for 3 more years.
Yeah.
Talking about a master's.
Yeah. It feels like she's been here so long, though.
It does. I thought about that, too, when I was writing the preview for the website. Again, gunsupnation.com. Be sure to go check out that soccer preview. When I was looking at Cassie Hyatt and I saw she was a junior, I was like, what?
No, she's not.
Did Jeremy just not update the website or something? Jeremy's the SID for soccer.
Yeah.
I was like, did he just not update it? And then I went to go look. I was like, hold on, let me go look at Davis and see if she's a senior. She's a senior. I was like, what is she really only a junior? It's like if she plays so much with so much like vigor and experience, you think she's much older than she is.
Yeah, and she's tough as hell. Good Lord. She
is.
She's super tough.
She's an enforcer back there.
Yeah, no, she is, definitely.
Yeah, and speaking of somebody that plays well beyond her years, Hannah Anderson, a true freshman last year from Plano. A lot of Tech fans remember last year when Tech soccer came out, you lose Carly Wickenheiser.
Yeah.
Your leader on that back line who literally moved from midfield to that back line her senior year because Coach Stone needed somebody back there with a bunch of true freshmen on that back line, and Cassie Hyatt was one of them. And then he inserts Hannah Anderson. And, to be honest, it's hard to find soccer information if you're not covering the team. And, we get it. That's why we try and cover them. But I had heard about her, practices and everything, and I was curious to see her in the first game. And I was like, damn, all right, we're sold. We're good. That's a dynamic duo. First 5 minutes, I didn't have to see anything else because you could tell her she just saw the game differently right beside Hyatt. And I'm sure having Cassie right next to her helped her in that transition to college. right? But she just saw the game different. It was a little slower for her. And the great thing is about Anderson, she's an elite defender on that back line. But if you need her to, she can push forward and be in the midfield. And if you really need to, she can go on the attack for you too.
She's very versatile. I want to see, Penelope. This is her sophomore year. She played very, very well last year as a freshman as well. I want to see the next step, that she can take, because offense is going to be amazing. We have scores on top of scores. I want to see what is the next step for her, because she played, very well last year as a freshman.
Yeah. No, I mean from Saskatoon, Canada, up there, and she's so different to me because you look at the midfielders that she's going to play with this year. You have Charlotte Teeter and Jordy coming back, right? They're more, and this is not a slouch at Penelope at all, or Penny, as they call her in the program. Not a slouch at all. But those two girls are super athletic on the outside, right? Yeah. You can push them forward, and they can be forwards for you. And Penny can do the same thing, but she's also got that, hey, if you come near my teammate, I promise you I'm going to level you with the shoulder.
Yeah, no,
I'm not afraid to get a yellow. I'm really not, right? She's not afraid to get in there and, make a big slide tackle, change the momentum of the game. She's not afraid to do that. Oh, and then also she can also set up a perfect pass to the outside to Teeter, who gets across to Davis, and Davis does exactly what we all know she can do and put it in the back of the net, right? It's just so crazy to see the talent on this team. You have Jordy. She came off an ACL injury in 2018, and then she came into 2019. She was a second-team All-Midwest. She made the tournament team for the Big 12, a first-team All-Big 12 regular season member, and then she made the first-team academic All-Big 12 as well. And she's going to be here for 2 more years because, again, free year.
Yeah.
This team, it really comes down to teams like this benefit, right? Let's say that they do this for, the spring as well. This is going to help Texas Tech baseball. Period. Yep. That's just how it is, right? It's going to help teams like Oklahoma in football because you get to keep these guys.
You keep everybody,
you get to keep everybody. You have to figure out the scholarship situation, right? But that's doable. That's something to do, right? And now Texas Tech soccer, an already loaded program, a team that's supposed to finish first if you look to the voters, they're just going to reload with more star recruits, and you get to get your 3 leading goal scorers from the past 3 years back, plus your whole midfield gets to come back, and your back-line defense is there for another 3 years.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah, look at the depth on this roster. It's like we just got people just everywhere. People that played a lot last year. They all they were so young, and people have to sit out for whatever reason. You're not going to miss a beat.
Yeah. No, perfect examples in the midfield. Jen Rose.
Yeah,
she could be a starter on a lot of programs. Yeah. Nicole Medham from New Zealand. She could be a starter in the midfield for a lot of programs. But the midfield's loaded. Now the area that everybody cares about and Texas Tech is known for is the forwards. We all know that, Tobias. Yeah. That's what Coach Stone.
Yeah.
He just recruits them different, right? He recruits them different. We're talking about Kirsten. Say what?
You got 3 of the best in the country on this team.
I know. Kirsten Davis coming back. Let me read her accolades too real quick in terms of the Texas Tech record book. Yeah, we're going to have another hour-long podcast just for this one. Number 1 in single-season game-winning goals with 6 in 2019. And by the way, just to make sure you got it, this is per Texas Tech Soccer. This is where Davis currently ranks in the Texas Tech Soccer record books. Okay? She has 2 more seasons left. Let's continue. Number 1 in single-season game-winning goals with 6 in a season. That happened last year. Number 2 in career game-winning goals, 11. Number 2 in single-season points, 39. Number 3 in single-season goals with 16. Number 4 in career points, 68. Number 5 in career goals with 27. Number 7 in career assists with 14. Number 7 in single-season assists with 7, both in 2018 and 2019. One of only 2 players in program history, Janine Becky, twice, by the way, the best player to ever play at Texas Tech, to have 4 points in an NCAA tournament game. By the way, I am out of breath and I need an inhaler.
No, her you need like a book. Like you just need a book. I'm tired. Like I'm tired after that because she does everything. Like she's the superstar. She's a superstar down to the T. Then for her last year, she just popped because Jay goes down unfortunately with the injury, but she just like okay, I got it. Whatever, I got it.
She took it up to a next notch, man. It was.
And she wasn't even heavily recruited like that.
Well, she was recruited by other schools, but.
Yeah.
She's from Colorado. That's one of the pipelines for Texas Tech, for Texas Tech soccer, I should add. And And, man, she's just delivered. You talk about it. You have Jade King and Allie Griffin coming back. Your two leading goal scorers in Allie Griffin from 2017 and then Jade King in 2018. And then we already talked about Kirsten Davis. She led the team in goals last year. Yeah. I mean, and we're not even mentioning people like Macy Schultz, who's an absolute stud, Marissa Weichel, who's a stud. And then you have freshmen coming in as well. I mean, it's unbelievable the attack they have right now. I mean, there is no reason why this team, if they stay healthy, shouldn't lead the Big 12 in goals.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable.
I know how last year, I know some of the girls, they were struggling. Sometimes the ball just wasn't bouncing away. I don't think they're going to have that issue this year.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. If you remember last year, like you said, there was a time where it just seemed like Texas Tech couldn't catch a right bounce.
Yeah.
And they still were outstanding.
Yeah, this year I will be very surprised if they have that issue.
Yeah.
Especially in stretches, I highly doubt that won't be an issue with this team.
Yeah, no, I project this team to almost be perfect, honestly. You have to go see the record prediction I have on the website. Again, it's gunsupnation.com. The article is out right now.
They're getting these good teams at home, too.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Big 12 is a tough conference to play soccer in. Don't get me wrong.
For sure.
But John Walker Soccer Complex is arguably the hardest place to play in the Big 12. Sure. And then you add that in terms of the talented team. It's going to be rough coming into the 806 this year for anybody. It's going to be interesting to see where they rank this year, Texas Tech. Obviously they'll probably have a top 25 with everybody in it, and then they'll do the top 25 with just conferences playing.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Texas Tech is in the top 10, at all. I would not be surprised at all. Tobias, you got anything else for the podcast, man?
No, their first game is in 12 days, so just be on the lookout for that. You got about 2 weeks or so, I'm pumped that ready to see them play.
Yeah, and you can I'll shout out the old stomping grounds. You can listen to all those games on KTXT 88.1 The Raider, and then you can hop over to gunsupnation.com and check out the latest on everything Texas Tech soccer. And be sure to go to docs.com. Go buy some beer, enjoy it with your friends and family. Labor Day's coming up. Spend $49 or more and you get free shipping when you use the promo code GUNSUP, all caps. Go do that. Go support a local business down there in downtown Lubbock. Again, that's $2. And when you use the promo code GUNSUP, all caps, you get free shipping on your orders over $49. But for Tobias Bass, you can follow him at Tobias Bass, right? Tobias _Bass. My goodness, it's been a while. It's been a while. Tobias _Bass. On Twitter, you can follow me at RCMB323 on Twitter. Be sure to go follow us at Guns Up Nation on Facebook, Twitter, and go help us get that cloud up on Instagram. And be on the lookout. Go check out Kobe's new video, by the way. It's a hype video. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Tobias. That hype video is pretty good, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it right now as soon as we get. I've been at work all day. I'm gonna look as soon as we get out.
There you go. Go check that hype video out. It's the football hype video for Guns Up Nation. But again, for Tobias Bass, I'm RC Maxfield. And as always, guys, be kind to others. Treat people with respect. And always keep your guns up. We'll talk to y'all next time. There we go. Wear a mask.
Thanks for listening to the Guns Up Nation podcast. The opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the fan page administrators, podcast hosts, and fans, and do not reflect the opinions of Texas Tech University or its affiliates. We are proud to support Texas Tech, its students, alumni, and fans.